Our first trip together, and it is to Italy, Rome, Florence, and maybe a few other spots. When I was taking this trip, unfortunately, I hadn't started my YouTube career yet. So most of these first few trips are going to be pictures with a voiceover, maybe a few videos thrown in here and there. But let's get into it. So here we are flying to New York City. This was our first stopover, and then it's time to fly. I went with a family from my hometown, the Browns, and it was not my first time to Italy, so I kind of got to be the tour guide for them. As we landed in Leonardo da Vinci Airport, we got our first sights of Italy on the train headed towards Rome. Had to get some coffee to wake up, and we walked to our apartment, which just so happened to be near the Colosseum, which was awesome. First couple of days rainy, and then we jumped on a train to go visit a couple of places around. Don't have any trains like this in America, so it's great to see. We're actually headed up to a place called the Royal Palace of Caserta in Italy, which we called the Star Wars Palace, specifically because there's a scene in episode 1 where they film at this exact location on that stairwell right there. Didn't have the exact position, but took a picture myself. They come down this stairwell with Queen Amidala, and then she stands in those windows at one point while she's in the Palace of Naboo. So, my buddy Robert that came with us really wanted to go to this one specific thing. It was like the only thing he asked for, so I had to make sure that we went there. It was a neat little experience. There's some different pictures and stuff you can see as you walk through the palace. It's a pretty good sized palace. Get to see a bunch of different rooms, and they're in the original way that they were. You can even take a guided tour with a headset. We didn't ourselves, but we walked through it just trying to look at the different things. Pretty exciting, pretty neat little stuff to see if you enjoy history. They also have a nice garden, I'm going to call it, on the outside, which we will go to here in just a minute. It's a pretty nice little place. So coming back out of the palace at this point, looking into the landscape, this is right behind the gardens, and it goes back a good little ways up this hill all the way to a fountain. You can jump on a golf cart, you can walk, you can get bus. There's a small fee. There's Robert. It's a pretty nice little walking area. Great sunshine. We got there at a great time. The Palace of Caserta is located right outside of Naples, Italy. We took a train from Rome straight to Naples. Took a little over an hour, but it's basically a bullet train, gets you there really, really quickly. A neat experience if you are an American who's not been on these kind of quick trains. These are some of the pictures from the train. Also, stopping around Naples a little bit more. Can't pass Naples up if you're going to be in the area. Nice area, nice bit of town there. We didn't get to go to the coastal region, didn't have enough time between our trains, but we definitely wanted to stop around, get a cappuccino, of course, have us a nice little time before we got back on the train and headed back to Rome. It was a day trip for us. Would not take you an entire day to do it, but um, it was a good bit of fun. Next day, we're up getting on the metro. Again, we stayed really close to the Colosseum. It was a really neat experience. Just kind of walking around Rome, seeing our different sites of Rome. We really enjoyed the different cathedrals and churches that you could go in and just seeing the different styles that they were in. We walked by so many different ones. It's hard to remember all of them, but they were all just amazing looking. Good little picture of the Fount de Trèves coming up here in just a moment. There it is. At this point, I was walking around solo. The other family had got a little tired and wanted to take a nap back at the hotel, so I went around Vatican City, stayed in Rome the whole time, and took the long way around to this restaurant, Papa Rex. I ate here with my mother and father several years ago on our first journey to Italy, and I had to stop by again. And then, of course, had to stop by Vatican City, step into St. Peter's Square, and see it before the crowds got there. This was a pretty nice day. Great picture of the Colosseum coming up, and then some breakfast food. And then we have a few pictures of Piazza de Santiago di Loya. I'm not Italian, so I'm sorry about the pronunciation. But this place is famous for a mirror where you can stand in front of the mirror and take a picture just like that of the giant fresco on the ceiling. A little hint: put your phone on the floor, do a reverse picture, and take a picture that way, so you don't have to stand in line. And then, of course, we stood in line to go into one of the oldest churches in Rome, the Pantheon. Amazing looking building, just breathtaking. It has updated since the first time I was there. You do now have to purchase a ticket to go into it, but it moves quickly. It's a pretty nice little area, great to see. A little bit of rain, but we still walked around, looked at some more churches. St. Peter's from far away. And then we just decided to stop by, get us a quick snack, of course. Meat and cheese plate there. Pretty nice little thing. A few more churches to see as we look at the sun peeking out from there. Then we decided it's time to go inside the Vatican museums and look through them. I'm telling you, as someone who's been to the Vatican museums a few times, you could spend days looking at all the stuff in here. There is so much to see. It is definitely worth a trip to go see it. If you get a ticket to it, stick to the time of the ticket. Do not show up late. If you show up late past whatever time your ticket is, they can and sometimes will not let you in, or they'll send you to the back of the line to get a new ticket, which is, of course, not a fun time. There is a lot of people always in the Vatican museums. It's quite stuffy, so just be patient. Walk through it at your own leisure. There's no rush, obviously. They've changed the way that you walk through. When I first went there, you could go almost directly to the Sistine Chapel. Now it's not as a direct path. The Sistine Chapel is almost the last thing that you see. This is the School of Athens located on the rear wall, and it is one of the photos you can take. However, they are very strict on what you can and can't take in there. They do this to preserve the photos as well as keep it calm and delicate inside of the Sistine Chapel. Of course, the main thing that everybody wants to take a photo of is the massive fresco on the ceiling that was painted by Michelangelo between 1508 and 1512. As he completed it, he entitled it The Creation of Adam, and it is one of the most famous paintings in the world, perhaps. It is a masterpiece to see, and I highly, highly suggest, no matter what, if you are in Rome, you must go to the Vatican Museum to see this piece, at least. After the museum, we made our way over to St. Peter's Square, where there was a lot of commotion going on. We were trying to figure out what it was. We quickly realized that the Pope was having his papal audience that he has every Wednesday. You can actually sign up to meet the Pope and get blessed by him during this audience, but to take a very short number of people, and you must do it months in advance. It's very strict to get into. They do a big background check on you. There's a lot into it, but it was really neat to see. This is about as close as we got, and the picture's a little deceiving. We are quite far away. It was very, very crowded. I myself am not Catholic, but how cool is it to see a reigning pope in real life from a distance? It was really neat to see that. That's it for part one. Come back for part two. When we finish this trip, we explore more of Rome. We go to Pompeii, or we try to at least. We get to Florence. We even see the statue of David and get into some extra things along the way. Thanks for joining me. Click subscribe, comment, hit that like button, and I really appreciate you joining me down these old East Kentucky country roads.